good people? This is FisherTwelve, and we have another exciting Black Ops 3 video for you guys today. As always, and continuing on with our E3 coverage, I figured today we would talk about the new movement system in Black Ops 3. So for more or less, the entire movement system has been overhauled. So we have tons of new maneuver abilities, nothing like the Exos from Advanced Warfare, but exciting nonetheless. So I'm going to go over all the new mechanics, the mechanics that changed, and give you guys an explanation of this new movement system that Black Ops 3 has adopted. So let's start with one of the biggest changes, and probably my personal favorite change, which is unlimited sprint. There's no need to tack on perks like Marathon and Lightweight anymore because your character doesn't ever stop sprinting unless you tell it to. And the reason why this is my favorite change is because limited sprint is, well, limiting. You know, you run into situations like, oh, I couldn't get to the bomb fast enough because I ran out of sprint, or oh, I couldn't get the flag because I couldn't get around that corner because I didn't have Lightweight on, or situations like that. And it's frustrating to have your experience limited by an internal game mechanic versus your ability as a player, you know? And you're being told no because the game doesn't want you to do it versus no because you physically can't do it. So I really applaud and appreciate this change in the movement system. I haven't seen anyone talk about this yet, but in Titanfall, you can set it so that your character auto-sprints without you having to press the directional stick down. So you basically just move your stick forward and your character just initiates and goes immediately into the sprint. And I really hope that Black Ops 3 adopts a similar setting, because I can't tell you the thumb strain that I didn't experience because Titanfall incorporated that setting to just have your character auto sprint every time you press the directional forward. Another change, although not as big, was the removal of the dolphin dive in place of a power slide. And this was upsetting to a lot of people, myself included. The dolphin dive has without a question become a loved and staple feature of Treyarch games. But other than the split-second captures and the occasional dodging of a grenade, the dolphin dive didn't really serve as a useful tool to the player, in my opinion. You know, it didn't really lend itself to the player, and it was very much a novelty feature. But in Black Ops 3, they've replaced the dive with a power slide, and this isn't something new. We've seen sliding in Call of Duty before, but Treyarch did something very different and made the power slide operate in a way that it's more of a feature tied into the other movement, and it can be used more frequently, and it's a useful, resourceful tool than very much just like an additive feature or something that you can do. In Advanced Warfare, it was really tricky to carry your jump into a slide, especially if you played on tactical. A lot of times you just press down on that crouch button and you would just, you know, crouch. But in Black Ops 3, you can smoothly and easily transition from jumping into a slide. And the slide is only a slide. It isn't a dodge or it isn't a dash. You can use it to get closer to enemies or to get away from them. The next aspect of the movement system I want to talk about is the thrust jump. This concept gave people a little concern early on because they weren't a fan of the verticality that Advanced Warfare brought, but the thrust jumps serve an entirely different purpose, I can assure you. In Black Ops 3, the thrust jumps are really a transitional tool that allow you to move fluidly throughout the map, where as Advanced Warfare, the Exos were really about accessing different parts of the map, getting to different spots on the map, and creating very swift, quick engagements. And I think a good comparison to the thrust jumps is jumping in Titanfall. It's entirely momentum based. So if you think of a bell curve, you kind of start at the bottom, you run, jump, carry yourself for a bit, and then start to fall back down, and then run some more. But unlike Titanfall, you can control the momentum of your jump. So the thrust is activated by pressing and holding the jump button, and the longer you hold the button, the higher you jump. The amount you jump is directly related to how much you hold the button. So if you need to do a small hop, you can make that happen by holding the jump button for half a second. And this kind of goes back to that limiting concept with sprinting I was talking about earlier. In Advanced Warfare, you know, I will jump as high as the jumping mechanic will let me go, regardless of where I'm trying to get to. And, you know, let me give you guys an example. I think the perfect example is probably any window on the map Detroit. You always jump higher than the actual window frame. And those quick seconds, you know, being outside the window frame are enough to get you killed. In Black Ops 3, I have complete control over my character's jumping ability. The catch here is that your thrust is timed in a way. When you use it, a white bar is going to appear at the bottom of your screen, and that is sort of your fuel for your thrust pack. And as you use your thrust pack, that white bar is going to start to deplete. So when it depletes, you can't use it anymore. But when you're not using it, that's when it will reset and refuel up. And this prevents the players from being able to spam their thrust pack, essentially making it into an exosuit. Now, let's talk about wall running. This is a completely brand new concept to any Call of Duty game. And again, I think this is very similar to Titanfall's wall running mechanic. It's momentum based, so the speed at which you approach the wall is going to be how fast your character runs on the wall. You're able to scale the walls as you run across them, so moving higher or lower. You can shoot while you're running. You can stop, do a 180 and go the other way on a wall. But again, unlike Titanfall, it's not as simple as you approach any wall at an angle and suddenly you're wall running across it. The wall running mechanic in Black Ops 3 is very much more intentional. You have to get up next to the wall, then you have to jump at an angle. And then the spots where you can wall run are very strategic. They're in places where a quick route from one side of the map to another is convenient, is useful for the player. It's not meant to be the main form of transportation to move around the map. And finally, I wanted to talk about swimming and the underwater combat system. And again, a completely new movement concept to the Call of Duty franchise, never been done before, but Treyarch here really was trying to create a new combat experience, and I definitely think they achieved that. The mechanics of swimming are going to be very familiar. It's very much like running on land. You have a slow moving mechanic where your gun is up at the ready, but you move at a much slower pace. And then you have a quick moving mechanic where you are much faster, but at the cost of putting your weapon down. And much like wall running, swimming is available in places where it proves useful and beneficial to the player. Water just isn't dropped on the map for you to swim around in. These waterways lead to other areas of the map, allowing you to flank and whatnot. But fighting underwater is something completely fresh. They've incorporated a generous amount of physics into the underwater combat system, you know? So you'll throw a grenade and it won't go as far as it would on land. You'll throw it, get a little resistance, it'll travel a bit, and then slowly sink to the floor. And bullet sounds are muffed as well. So I found this to be wicked cool, but of course there are limitations to this. When you're underwater, you can only be underwater for a certain amount of time, which is around 10 seconds. So long enough to get into a fight, but short enough so that you won't have campers. And that is all for my analysis on the new movement system in Black Ops 3. Like I've said on Twitter, I think this will be the best Call of Duty yet, and I can't wait for it to come out, and I'm excited to use the new thrust packs, and I'm excited to wall run, I'm excited to use the new movement ability. But let me know in the comments down below if you guys are excited too. What do you think of the new movement system? Do you think it will be like Titanfall? Do you think it will be like Advanced Warfare? Do you think it will be like neither, something completely brand new, nothing we've seen in any game ever before? Let me know in the comments down below. But guys, that's going to do it for me. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and make sure to follow me on Twitter at FisherTwelve, same as the channel name, link down in the description. Once again, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and take care.